All right, welcome back. Let's do a quick market update before the markets open tomorrow. Futures have already opened. It's a little reddish, a little red. All right, first of all, not financial advice. Consult your licensed financial advisor. I'm not a licensed financial advisor. Consultant before doing anything. Stocks, currencies, bonds, everything. Extremely volatile, extremely risky. Do not invest in anything you're not willing to lose or lose sleep over. Okay. Um, I think I have some important things to talk about in this video. I'm gonna, I don't have notes or anything, so bear with me if I'm quiet every once in a while. All right. First of all, go to my website, join the private members area. We look at stocks. You'll learn how to trade. I post my trades and what I'm doing, and I give explanations. I've done some articles, some research. I'm very into the commodity sector, obviously. Um, and yeah, you're either in there or you're not. It's $220 first fee, $20 a month. If you can't afford that, you shouldn't be investing anyways. Um, Big opportunities, the biggest ever, huge. Um, but here's the thing: this isn't just about trying to make money. I mean, if you're not in the right sectors and you're not doing the right things, you're gonna be poor. I don't know. That's what I think. That's what I believe. I could be completely wrong. Maybe everything will be rainbows and butterflies, but I do not think so. And I'm gonna explain why. But if you're smart, you could be on the receiving end. So I'll talk about the markets this week. There's a lot going on. The repo market. Um, you know, the last FOMC, it wasn't. I don't think it was enough. There's 38 days till the next Fed minutes, so that's a long time for the markets and for interest rates on bonds to keep going higher, which may cause a nice dump. But let's talk about oil and gasoline because this will affect us all. It's already affected us. If you haven't noticed, gas has gone up by a lot, and it ain't over. All right. So let me show you guys this real quick. All right. So here's this data is actually fairly new. Who put this up? I forgot. It was one of some institution or hedge fund or something. I think it was Bloomberg or Charlie Bilalo. It doesn't matter. This is correct somewhat. I mean, it's not to the T, but yeah. So this is asset classes on the left. These are the years on the top and the dates. Cumulative analyzed. All right. Annualized. All right. So Bitcoin outperformed everything since 2011 in the past 10 years, right? Second is the NASDAQ in the past 10 years. Third is large caps. So obviously NASDAQ is like the FANGs, all the tech stocks, and then it's the large caps, uh, Amazon, you know, large companies. And then it's U.S. small caps. They've actually done pretty well. And then REITs, I don't talk about those. I don't like them personally. All right, long duration treasuries. So the bond market. Bond market's been in the bull market for like 40 years. And rates haven't spiked this quickly. I don't know, since like probably like the 80s or something. Whenever there was inflation last time. Or when Paul Volcker hiked interest rates, right? Uh, that's when the last bull market in bonds popped, pretty much. But it was forced. This time they can't do that. Um, Preferred stocks, which is VC money, people hedge funds, Wall Street getting in on IPOs before the IPOs launched to the public. And that's what Warren Buffett does as well, and that's why they're so rich, really. High yielding bonds, junk bonds, investment grade bonds, also probably junk bonds. Pretty much the bond market for corporations is like CLOs, right? During the the housing bust of 2008. That's pretty much happening right now for the housing market, but it's also extended itself because of the central banks and their low interest rate policy causing uh, mass global asset distortions and causing people to chase yield in risky junk bonds, which are all packaged up, sliced up, and put into like CLOs, right? Collateralized loan obligations, something like that. It's just tranches of crap in a bag. All right. Tips, I guess. Tips are bonds that go well that go up when inflation goes up. So when the bond market goes down, tips go up. U.S. total bond market. Okay. The last three is gold, cash, and commodities. Those have performed the worst in the past decade. So where do you want to be? Do you want to be chasing the last 10%? Or maybe it'll go higher, I don't know, but it doesn't matter if you adjust it for inflation in the end. Like I said this so many times. It doesn't matter. Venezuela's stock market went up during hyperinflation. But when you cash out, it's like 90%. Like you lose the value of the stocks is really falling against real things in the real world, meaning, so let's say today you invest 100 grand in the S&P 500. The S&P 500 does a 10x from here. Okay, well, when you go to cash out, you have like $1 million. But $1 million 5 years from now will be worth 100,000 today in today's value. That's how much purchasing power it will have. But on top of that, you're in another higher tax bracket, which is tax-free. And, so you lost money in the end. Even though it looks like you made 10 times your money, you really lost money. And it could be a lot, like 40%. And that's including all the risks of the market could dump and really crash at any time, right? It's not even considering the opportunity costs versus the risk, okay? All right, because, I mean, at some point, when inflation's so high, companies aren't making money. So, and then the market just drops. All right, so where do you want to be? I'm a contrarian. I'm a swing trader, contrarian, and long-term investor, and I look for value. Do you want to be where everyone's already at? Or do you want to go to the next thing where most people are not at? Because the money's going to flow over there. Money's never destroyed, it just flows. Capital flows. Okay? So, commodities is where it's at, in my opinion. Consult your licensed financial advisor. They're going to come out with a Green New Deal, infrastructure spending. You guys all know that. But let me explain to you how big of a deal this is. First of all, they're destroying oil right now, like the oil companies for the U.S., domestic. But the ones that do survive are going to do very, very well. Because at the end of the day, the Green Deal ain't so green because it costs even more oil to do it, to build out the infrastructure. They have to replace the entire electrical grid in the U.S. if they want to go all EVs. They have to do that when people start getting computers at home. To mine the minerals, what does it take? Oil. To build the infrastructure, to transport it, to manufacture materials, raw materials, all of it, all oil. You need petroleum. At the same time, they're raising fees and licensing and taxes on the oil companies and trying to literally put them out. But it makes no sense because they need them to build their green thing, right? So I'm just gonna call it the green thing, right? So the irony is pretty funny. I I don't know if they're this dumb, but and not just that, the U.S. is no longer energy dependent, right? The pipelines got shut off, this and that. So now the U.S. has to get the oil, a lot of it, not all of it, but some of it now, from the rest of the world. The Ramco, right? Saudis, right? And just recently, Aramco, last year they lost 50% of their profits. They lost 49 billion. It used to be the most profitable company in the world, and they lost like a large percentage, like half. No, 44% last year. Well, they have to make up for that. And just recently, they just came out. This article is 32 minutes ago. But I think the news came out, I don't know, maybe yesterday, maybe a few days ago, that Aramco to prioritize energy supply to China for 50 years. So let's get this straight. China doesn't, they're not going to go green. Maybe a little bit, but yeah. They're just going to keep going with oil and building up their economy. Meanwhile, in the West, we're going to try to get away from gas and oil. And if the Saudis are providing it to the East, well, one, prices are going to go up. And they want prices to go up. They said they're not going to boost production. They're just going to allocate their production elsewhere. So if they're not going to boost production, it's going to make the price go up because the demand is going to go up and the supply isn't. This is on top of endless QE money printing. This is on top of massive trillions and trillions of infrastructure build out that the West wants to do. And this is on top of pretty much, I feel like the people are going to be traveling this summer a lot. Like, because they've been cooped up for like a year. And people just want to go live again. Like, they lost a year of their lives. What's a year of your life? I mean, let's say you live till like, I don't know, 90 or something. It's like, like 1.3% of your life. You just lost that. A lot of people did. I didn't. But, so they're going to go make up for it. So they're going to travel. Gas prices, I mean, they're already up. They're going to go through the roof. We're not only going to see inflation from M2 money supply and all that going up. On top of that, we're going to see just massive oil shortages. Matter of fact, we already have oil shortages. I don't know how high gas is going to go this summer, but it's probably going to go higher. I think it'll double by the end of the summer. Maybe we'll see lines. Maybe we'll see shortages at the pumps like it happened in, I think, the late 70s or whatever. And on top of that, we see inflation. And the fact that oil goes up in price, transporting food and everything, all products, goes up in price. Which is more on top of inflation. It's like a suicide mission. I swear to God. And you know what's funny, right? Here's another thing. Here's what else I think about this green thing, right? This green build out. First of all, it's not green. Second of all, let's say they actually do it and they actually somehow do it. So, let's say you just get 40% of the country, maybe all the big cities or whatever, everyone driving golf carts. Oh, by the way, if you go to my Twitter, they had electric cars in 1917. In 1917, I think even earlier. Don't believe me? I showed you evidence, video, and it exists. All right. It's nothing new. EVs ain't nothing new. So let's say they do that, right? I think it's a huge security risk because just one missile, like put in the atmosphere, high atmosphere, you create an EMP. I mean, everyone will starve to death. I mean, it would happen anyways, but it'd be even worse if everything's just running off endless electricity. Oh, by the way, where's the electricity coming from? What energy source do you have to consume to create electricity? Coal. What else are they shutting down? Coal. I don't know, guys. I don't know what they're thinking. Like it's just I don't know. It's suicide. That's all I can see. Um, so the only other alternative to creating electricity, because the windmills ain't gonna do it. Neither are the solar panels, which take a lot of silver, but they're gonna try. Whatever. Um, is nuclear, which is pretty green, I guess, until one of them, until something happens, then it's scorched earth. I don't like it, but I see an opportunity. I mean, they're gonna have to, and not just that. There's a huge shortage in uranium, and let's take a look at uranium. And I talked about this 6 months ago, a year ago, I think. I put in the private members, and I gave them a stock. It's up over I think it's up over 400%. I don't even know. It's up. And it's going to go up a lot more, I believe. And good thing we didn't miss out on that. But there's way more to come. So let's take a look at uranium. I could find. I have 1,000 tabs open. I don't want to close them because I don't want to forget something. So whenever my computer crashes, it's devastation. I forget things. Oh, well, let me show you copper. This is just 1 month. Look at copper. From February 1st of 2021, it's 352, went up to $4.30. That's a huge gain just on the metal. Think of all the copper that goes into piping homes and businesses and manufacturing companies. Because you realize they're going to have to build a bunch of manufacturing companies to do this green thing. It's going to take a lot more copper. So is all electronics. This could end in the biggest blunder in human history, trying to go green. I mean, you could do it, but it'll take decades. But they're trying to do it like instantly during an economic pretty much collapse. Biggest blunder in human history. I swear to God, 2 years from now, people are going to be like, I can't eat. Like, I can't even drive to work. I can't afford it. I don't know what's going to happen. It's just going to be unreal. But, in 2020, during the March lows, it was $2.18. Now, we hold a lot of gold and silver mining companies, but the third metal that comes out of the ground when you find a gold and silver deposit is, guess what? Copper. So they're doing really well. All these mining companies whose balance sheets and financials were pretty bad for the last 6 years, they're all pretty much fixed. And now they will have the best earnings on the entire stock market, probably for the next 5 years, if not a decade. And the market, Wall Street, nobody's really paid attention or even knows. But their heads are starting to turn towards commodities because they're like, wait a minute. they're going to do a giant infrastructure build out. Well, guess what that takes? Metals and minerals and oil. All right, so yeah, I went from $2 to 4. That's huge. All right, back to uranium. All right, I'm just gonna bring it up. Let's give it a second to load. This is natural gas. Let me go to uranium real quick. Futures. Oh, is this new? Hmm. Well, it goes back to 2006. That's good enough. Well, it used to be up around $90. It's at 30 now. So I am uploading another spreadsheet, a report on some uranium stocks I'm looking at. You guys look at it, do your own research, consult your licensed financial advisor afterwards. I already have one that's done amazing, but there's going to be some more opportunities. So I'm not just in gold and silver. So there you go. Also, there's a lot of oil ETFs leverage that you could swing trade, and I'm gonna come out maybe with a couple oil companies. So not just that, I'm also looking at where is it? There's agriculture. We already traded this. It popped pretty nicely. Nice. What is this? We bought it at the lows. One of the members brought it up. It's been trading for like decades. Um, yeah, it's up 34%. It's not bad. Long term, this is gonna go way back up to all-time highs, I believe, or I mean, minimum near it. Here's M2 money stock. It's that blue line. It's parabolic. It's gonna go even higher. Gold is the orange line. Uh, the yellow is what is that? Oh, that's them too. Oh, that's velocity of money. So the velocity of money is still low. Okay, it's gonna pick up this summer, big time, I believe. And when it does, gold's gonna shoot straight up. It's gonna return to this blue line, which is them two money supply stock. Where would that go actually? Let's take a look. See. So from current prices, yeah, gold would go up 100% technically. But actually, this M2 is gonna rise some more because they're gonna do a 3 trillion um, infrastructure, and then on top of that, they're gonna do more QE. They need more QE to keep the interest rates down, the yield curve down. So this blue line is gonna go even higher. So then this orange line, which is gold, is gonna have to catch up, and then silver is still in like a bear market. You guys realize silver went to $50 in the 80s? Then its previous all-time high was $50 in 2011. Okay, gold hit all-time high in 2020 last year. All-time high. Well, silver needs to catch up to its all-time high, and it will. I have a feeling this summer. And then needs to make a new all-time high because it's been suppressed for like a very long time. And I'm telling you, 150 to me, I personally believe that's the lowest price it's going to be in the end. And then the mining stocks are priced still at like $18 an ounce silver. Right now, if you oh by the way, there's a huge shortage in silver. Like literally the Perth Mint, a bunch of mints, and then not just that, the U.S. Mint's gonna stop uh, selling silver rounds because they have to do a new design, whatever, and it's gonna be offline for like 2 months, which they'll probably extend, and because they probably don't have it, because people can't find physical anymore in the real economy. So what does that signal? People are going to ask for delivery on the COMEX. As soon as the COMEX says, which they changed the rules, they changed the rules on SLV as well, that they get they don't have to give you physical. They can just give you paper. They can settle your contract with paper, meaning they probably don't have the physical. So when it breaks, and it will, it's just going to be a moonshot. Like in 1 week, it'll be $50. And then your mining stocks, I don't know what they're going to do. We've never seen anything like this before. You might see a 5x, 10x right off the bat. And it'll just happen quickly. It'll leave 99% of people behind. Then it's going to catch everyone's attention, and it's going to go even higher. You don't want to miss that boat, that train, that rocket ship, basically. It's not even... All right. What else? You know what? Let's go to the newsroom. My newsroom. Links below. Okay, here on the right we have... Before I get into that, I want to show you guys a few more charts. Lumber's on the right. So, I mean, it's gone. From that March low in 2020, the big crash, I mean, it's up over 300%. It's at 320%. And it's high. I mean, currently it's pulled back a little bit. But let's say from average lumber prices before the big crash, it was gone up. Currently, it's up 100%. So lumber has doubled in price. This is probably going to continue. So home prices are just, for building homes, they're going to go up. So that means people are going to chase existing homes, probably further out in the suburbs and out. And those prices may only go up. But, you know, you're still going to get some swings, because with interest rates going up right now, that's going to bring prices down for homes. It should. Maybe this summer. And then everyone's going to think it's back to normal, the good times are coming back, and then people won't look for homes maybe out in the middle of nowhere, but they'll keep moving out into the suburbs. I don't necessarily know how much in value home prices will come down during like a very stagflationary, inflationary environment. But I don't know. Thinking like if you could get a fixed rate interest, but that's risky as well, because what if rates just go up and they can't stop rates going up, which is good actually. So if you get a fixed at a very, very low rate, if rates go up, that shouldn't harm you that much. But if rates go even lower, let's say they go back down a little bit, I mean, it's still, we're not that far. I mean, we're at 1.73 right now. So it's, I mean, rates are not almost at zero. I mean, real rates are. But if it's fixed at this low amount, maybe your home kind of pays for itself if you get hyperinflation. I don't know. Consult a licensed financial advisor. This isn't like advice, because everyone's situation is different personally. But that might be something to consider. If, let's say, inflation is super high, then that pretty much cancels out everyone's debt. Then everyone's debt goes lower. That's why it's the easy way out. It's the easy way out for all the debtors, including the government, right? All right, on the left here we have platinum. Listen, platinum it's more rare than gold. I mean, you can get a platinum coin that's like, it's still cheap, but it's gone up. It's gone up a lot from the March low. And I put it out. It's in the files folder for the private group. I put 3 out, or maybe I just posted a chart. I don't know. But it's up 141% from that March low. Now the crash had only lasted like a month or two, so from its low of 2019 and 2020, it's only up 38%. Historically, it was up at around 2,214 per ounce. Right now, it's only at 1,184. So it could easily double and then make new all-time highs with the rest of the rare metals, which is technically, I feel like platinum could easily be a monetary metal, easily. So because it's even harder to find, it's one of the rarest. So, and catalytic converters, they need a rhodium and platinum and this and that as well. But we're going to go to the green thing, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure those batteries use the same stuff as well, if not more. So, just throwing ideas out there. And there's some good stocks for this as well. Alright, back to the news room. People are too lazy to click a link. Everyone's here, by the way. Everyone's off the old big platforms. They're on the new platforms. Here. And I've been here for a while. I could upload videos and everything here. I upload videos all the time. It's difficult on here because I can't speak freely. Alright, so Bitcoin is going to possibly come under attack now. And they really are. There's another video. They're already talking about banning cash in Europe and coming out with Fed coins, basically. I mean, I called that 4 years ago. Here's the deficit. It's going to go way higher. Notice how the Fed chart, which comes from the central banks, it's already gray. And the gray areas represent recessions. So we're already in it. They're admitting it. They just don't say it. Like, they don't admit to it. Alright, I tweeted this out. Semiconductors, there's a huge shortage of semiconductors. Now, all these new vehicles coming out that are still gas, they have like tablets in them and all kinds of electronics. And it takes endless semiconductors. Well, the new EVs are going to take even more. And the green thing is going to take, I don't know, 100x the amount of semiconductors, if not 1,000x. What metals go into making those? Guess what? A lot of silver. Into making them. It takes a ton. There's actually a guy in the private group who is a part of a manufacturing company or welding. And they don't have a shortage yet, but it's becoming harder to source. Yeah, the Perth Mint's out. So is a bunch of other ones. The Perth is in Australia, and those are like in China, in the East, they're gobbling it up hand over fist because they're also going to do even more infrastructure spending. It's not just the U.S. I don't know what Europe's doing. I think Europe's just trying to get their hands on some. I guess they're just doing 5G build out, and I mean that's happening in the U.S. as well. I don't know what they're doing. They're just making trade relations with the East with the One Belt One Road. Oh yeah, the One Belt One Road. I mean that's going to take a ton of metals and oil to produce. and to build out further the world global supply chain, right? Yeah, I mean they stopped. You can't even get at the U.S. Mint any more coins. Virtual land in video games is people are spending millions of dollars on them. That's how ridiculous this bubble is. It's way more ridiculous already. I mean, you thought NFTs were ridiculous. People are now buying virtual land. I mean, if you're smart, you might want to get the real thing. That also may save you from eating bug burgers and patties. I just tweeted on my Twitter that the World Economic Forum, they're talking about people eating bugs and stuff. And you know what? If you don't do the right thing, that's what's going to happen to you. And honestly, I don't know. I guess it's better than eating your shoe, because that's what they did in the 80s. My family talked about it, like, because they've gone through socialism and communism, and people had to eat the soles of their boots. So I guess a bug burger is not that bad if weighing out the options. This casino, Decentraland, is hiring for real. Yeah, so if you guys are looking for jobs, you could get a real job in a video game. What was that movie? There was that one movie where people lived in a video game, pretty much. I don't know. By the way, they're gonna do a third. They want to do a third. Well, they have to, because after everyone gets the solution to the problem that we had last year, if that makes them sick, they got to blame it on something. All right, so Dalio, he sounds a lot like me, except for the fact that recently he just came out and said you should buy foreign Eastern bonds. And you know what that would do, right, to the U.S.? Well, the 40-year bond bull market would pop, rates would rise, and would go into the greatest depression in human history. Or the Fed will monetize it. That's really what's going to happen. And then eventually we'll get hyperinflation. But the fact that he wants U.S. investors and their capital to literally go offshore to the east is, you could, I think that's not cool for your own country, because you're saving the other country in the east. Just my opinion. What is this? Sunshine Mint now locked down. New orders until September 2021. That's insane. Until 2021, September. And by then it could be worse, and they'll never supply any more silver. I mean, it's here, guys. This shortage. What else? U.S. looks to Canada for minerals to build electric vehicles. Yeah. Some of the best mining opportunities, like mining companies to invest in, are in Canada, right? And it's a nice region, like it's safe. This was a good video. Oh yeah, here it is. This is real. It's real. I didn't even know this. I mean, the picture's black and white because it was like the early 1900s, like 1915. Yeah, here's a vehicle, one of them. This is funny. It's hilarious. So yeah, ever since 2008, the Great Recession, mortgage-backed securities, and the creation of Bitcoin. Share of men under age 30 who report zero female contact since they turned 18. They're virgins. How much is that share of men under age? 27%. I mean, that is sad. It's just like, listen, I know it's hard nowadays. It's not like it used to be. It used to be fun and times were great, man. Early 2000s, even 2000, all the way up to like probably 2015, because that's when I started slowing down. Um, you could go out and if you just, I mean, you could read some books, you could read and get your game up. But honestly, it's all confidence. It's all confidence, and gotta work out, get them tees up because they scent it like dogs. If you have low test, I mean, one, you look like it, and then two, it's almost like putting off pheromones. Um, and yeah, they're not like women used to be, and then, but that's no excuse. If you're a real man, some of them, they listen. It's actually probably easier now than it was back then because they're drooling over real men. So if any young guys out there listen to me, just man the fuck up. I don't know what else to tell you. If you don't, then whatever. I mean, the weak will perish. I want to do motivational videos and stuff like that. I just don't have time. All right. Yeah, the robots are here, guys. They already have robots to deliver packages. Amazon. They're looking into it. They'll be here in like 2 years. I mean, it's very quick. If they've already built one, it's easy to mass produce them. Matter of fact, you can start building robots that build robots, and within a couple of years, all of a sudden, it's Skynet. I don't. And I was warning about this for the past few years, and I feel like everyone ignored it. They're like, okay, haha, Laszlo, whatever. They'll be in like a decade or something. I'm like, no, man, like this moves quick. You don't understand. It's coming out of the Arctic, man. It's already there. Yeah, people all across the world, I think they've had enough. I mean, once you lose everything, you got nothing to lose. Volcanoes erupting. I wanted to make a separate video on this. I'm just gonna say it. If you look at the North Pole, it's shifted. Like, it's moving. And it's moving quicker and quicker. Every, 1,000 or something years, that puppy flips. And when it flips, that's when, the sun's radiation hits the earth, it fries everything, and then your EV's gonna fry, and then you're gonna fry, it's probably explode. And then, I don't know if it's gonna happen anytime soon, but maybe. And this comes into effect with the grand solar minimum or whatever maximum. It ties into that, where that's where you get the climate changing hardcore, and we're probably gonna go into a new what is it? Ice age, mini ice age, and those happen every 100 years or 200 years as well. It's all cyclical, guys. If you watch the movie Gibson made, the movie the Aztecs, right? The Aztec Empire. There was a part in the movie that was very it gave you a glimpse of how the world's ran by the managing class. So they know the cycles, right? And in the movie, they knew when the solar eclipse was going to happen. And then, they're doing sacrifices on the pyramid, and all of a sudden they do it at the exact same time. They know that the moon's going to go in front of the sun, and then, the plebs, they see that happens, and they've never seen that in their lives, and they don't know about cycles, but the cycles have been passed down through the royalty, right? And they know about the cycles, so they time their ceremonies with the cycles. And then it seems like an act of God, that favors that current ruling class, and then, they all bow and they're like, oh, you are, well, nothing's changed since then, and I don't want to say like it goes along with markets or whatnot. It's just, I don't know, just thought. All right, so George Gammon, this guy's pretty good explaining how things work, and I like the guy. He's an entrepreneur, high school dropout, so he's crushing. He's a genius. No, but he built his own real estate empire. But now he's just talking on a whiteboard. He's already retired, and he's just trying to figure out how everything works. And he's doing a great job. And he was talking, and I told you guys, when these rates were spiking, I'm like, guess what's going to happen? The repo market's going to break again, and guess what? It just happened. And he made this video explaining it all. And I agree. I do agree with everything he said in the video. And I do think all that stuff's happening behind the scenes. I just think in the end it doesn't matter because the Fed's going to capitulate. And everything he explains in this video is why I believe they're going to capitulate sooner than later. Definitely I think it'll happen within 38 days, if not exactly 38 days from now, at the next Fed minutes, if the market could even last till then. So I think they're just going to monetize the debt, the bonds, and do yield curve control, just like Japan and Europe. It's pretty obvious. And as soon as they do that, metals are going to the different galaxy, I believe. All right. My own opinion. But you got to watch this to understand it all. It's pretty in-depth. Yeah, read this. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, also, they're really starting to talk negatively about the cryptos. Just so you guys are aware, it's in the newsroom. So during these market corrections, which one is possibly coming if yields keep spiking as they currently are, in the last video, and I know I sounded like I was in the toaster. Listen, guys, I don't know what's going on. Like, every time there's an update, it screws up my audio. I even test it before I make a video, and I don't know. I'm being sabotaged. But I'm not going to redo it because I just spent 2 hours making the first one. And I'm just like, you know what? If you want the information, you'll bear through it. And I'm sorry. And I know it's annoying. It is. I try not to. I tested it like 5 times. If this video comes out bad, I'm just going to upload it. I can't. I don't have all day. Maybe it's when I upload. Because when I upload to other platforms, it's fine. All right. During 1978, gold and silver actually went up during that correction, and we had stagflation at that time. Stagflation, and there were lines for the gas pumps to get gas. There was a shortage of gas. I feel like we're about to experience that this summer, late summer possibly. 1980, gold actually did very bad. But that's probably because prior to that it did very good. So it was kind of in the, I don't want to say bubble, but it went up. That's when we had the last major, huge gold and silver bull run, where silver went from like $2 to like $50, and gold went from like $30 to like 800 or something. Well, we're about to see the same type of move, I believe. So it's kind of like gold going from like 1,100 to 8,000, something like that, right? Or even 5,000, I'm happy. All right, so, and then silver going from what, like $20 to, I don't know, guys. I have no idea where it's going to go, but it's going to go up. But it does not correct as much as the market, historically, overall. And we actually saw that in March. Metals did not sell off. They did, but not as bad as the market itself. And honestly, right now, with the pattern that's forming on the charts, even if the market drops 20% very quickly, very violently, yeah, gold and silver will get smashed. But I don't see a big smash. Maybe 5-10%. maybe down to 1,600, but it ain't going down to 1,300 or anything like that. I don't believe, because there's a physical shortage already. People do not. It's like their brains don't work. Because people keep arguing with me. There's a physical shortage. It can't go that low. It's impossible. So, yeah, whatever. If it falls another 5-10%, great. Another buying opportunity. I'm going to keep loading up and keep scaling in as the prices go down. But at any minute, like, they could take off like a rocket as soon as the Fed capitulates and says we're doing yield curve control. That's when it's over. And then as soon as they really start pushing through the infrastructure bill, gold and silver is going to go up. And it's going to be quick, I'm telling you guys. All right. So, I don't know. I think that's it. I'm looking at volatility to hedge my account in case yields keep spiking this week. And that's about it. And I'm looking for buying opportunities. I've got a lot of exciting silver miners. I already have the report up, and more are coming. Got a lot of uranium miners I'm looking at. Oil, and that looks good. What else? Something else. A lot of polyprecious metal miners that I've been looking at lately, which they have a lot of everything. Or it's equally balanced. Let's say, it's only 10%, let's say silver, 5%, that they're deposits, resources that they're extracting out of the ground. It's like an open pit mine. And they're extracting, like 5% gold, 10% silver, 20% copper. And then everything else is like other minerals that are all needed to do EVs and batteries and solar and to rebuild. Imagine how much metal it's going to take to revamp and rebuild the electrical infrastructure, not just for the US, but Europe and the Silk Road and going across the world to do this huge infrastructure build out. I mean, this is for us, guys. This is what we've been looking for and waiting for the past decade. I've been waiting for this, and it's even better than I ever thought. It's not just a monetary situation that's going on, where they're forced to print. It's what they're spending the money on. It's a double whammy that's double, triple bullish. Monetary bullish, resource sector bullish, demand super bullish. Where the wealth transfer is just going to come out of everything that's been in a bubble for the last 10 years, and it's going to move into and create a new bubble. And we're at the beginning of this possibly new bubble. That's how I kind of look at this. I could be wrong. Consult your financial advisor, all right? I'm going to leave you guys with that. Go to my website, join the private group.
By insisting he accept their lies as real. By insisting he was never to his people tied. By dictating exactly what he might feel. By permitting haughty joy, but never pride. They believed a lion could be brought to heel. That a lion could from his courage be pried. That the lion himself would learn to kneel. That a lion would not care, even if his line died. That the lion himself would accept such a deal. In the end, it was only to themselves they had lied.